Hey there, Internet friends. Trevor Starkey here with another episode of Movie Monday. This week, I actually did a little bit of a weird thing. So, the upcoming TV Thursday episode is going to be the new Netflix release, Wet Hot American Summer 10 Years Later, which is like taking place at the 10-year reunion that they promised in the original Wet Hot American Summer movie. And so, in honor of that, I decided for Movie Monday today to go back and watch the original Wet Hot American Summer, which I've seen before, but, like, I didn't watch it with kind of the lens of now the prequel series as well as the sequel series, so kind of watching it out of order was a little weird. Definitely kind of interesting to see where they've gone with the episodic format compared to when they had the movie. Also, obviously, this was a movie that was made in 2001, and well before, like, a handful of these people kind of had their breakout careers. There are a lot of, great talents in there, and they certainly kind of shine in the film, but there were a lot of obscure talents in there, like Amy Poehler, Bradley Cooper, kind of, who hadn't really hit their stride yet in their careers. So I'll admit to coming to Wet Hot American Summer late. I certainly remember it kind of being one of those things that they would play kind of on Comedy Central when I was like probably in late high school, early college, something like that. And I just never really clicked for me. It was never really something that I was like overly eager to sit down and watch. And I think I might not have even actually watched the full movie until the last series came out, the First Day of Camp series. I might have like watched it really for the first time in its entirety kind of right before that. And part of that I think may come from the idea that this is very much in the vein of David Wayne, Michael Showalter, and Michael Ian Black. And I remember them, again, from like Comedy Central and seeing their stuff as the trio Stella, and their Comedy Central special as Stella, and then I think the show that they had as Stella. And they've always been very like hit or miss. There's some moments of their act and their comedy that really resonate with me, and then others that just kind of land very flat. And so I think I kind of, nothing really like jumped out at me to say, oh, I need to watch this movie. So it doesn't have that, like, cult status for me, I guess. And it's not that watching it again here, I dislike the movie. There are a lot of funny moments in there. I love that they kind of break with, like, the standard convention of, like, oh, the guy's going to get the girl. Oh, nope, the guy doesn't get the girl. The girl very blatantly says, and kind of in the end, like, oh, yeah, you're nice and all, but like, this other guy is really hot, and I just want to fuck him because I'm 16, and that's all I care about. And so it's not that, like, storybook ending that you're accustomed to. And they really, like, very few, even now, in this, like, era of postmodernism twists and stuff, very few movies really followed through on that kind of idea. There's also just lots of weird, wacky, absurd stuff in there. The can of vegetables, played by H. Jon Benjamin, in a very bit role here in this movie, and he gets a lot more kind of screen time because, again, he's one of those people that became a much bigger name, I think, in the aftermath of this, and so they gave him a lot more to do in the series. Yeah, lots of fun little just kind of threads. It is very much like an extended sketch comedy kind of movie where a whole bunch of people are kind of doing their own little 2 or 3 person threads throughout the movie, and there are like just kind of a few scenes where they all kind of come together or cross over, but it is kind of, oh, these people are going to have their own little story, and it's going to be scattered with a lot of jokes, and then we're going to cut to these people and they're going to have their story. And so yeah, it's a funny movie, but it doesn't really sit there and wow me, and it's certainly like I don't know if there is like a stoner culture element to it that I miss out on because I don't partake. But yeah, and I also never went to summer camp or anything like that. So even though a lot of what they play on are like the tropes of summer camp, I certainly don't have that first-hand experience to work off of. Rewatching it, there are definitely moments that I had completely like blacked out, like when they all go to town and basically just like all pass out in a heroin den for an hour and then just come back to camp like right as rain and nothing's wrong except for the fact that they all just go and stand in front of a wall for until the scene cuts. Yeah, like obscure things like that I certainly missed the first time I watched it. Apparently, it is, as I said at the top, kind of impressive how much talent is in this movie, and where that talent would go. Where you have like people like Bradley Cooper and Elizabeth Banks and Amy Poehler and Joe Lo Truglio and I mean, obviously, like Janine Garofalo and David Hyde Pierce were probably like the big stars at the time, and still continue to be big names. Paul Rudd is ageless, of course. Christopher Meloni steals the show probably as Gene in his kind of like very Vietnam flashbacky, crazy off-kilter cafeteria chef. It's not anything I'd put up in like my list of favorite comedies, but it's good and it's reliable for a handful of laughs, and yeah, that's what you kind of hope for in a comedy. It's very clear that like these people all enjoyed making the movie together, and it also is interesting seeing the movie kind of and then looking to see what they've done with all the TV stuff or with all the Netflix stuff, and realizing how much more like actual kids they had in the movie doing very adult things that they kind of, I think, stray away from a little bit in the TV show. There are still a few kids here and there in the TV shows, but it's mostly focusing on the adults that are playing, that are way too old to be playing these teenagers, and that's kind of who we've continued to follow throughout the rest of the series, the franchise. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Wet Hot American Summer. As I said, this coming Thursday, I'll do kind of my thoughts on the 10 Years Later series that released on Netflix this last weekend. And let me know what you think about the movie in the comments below. As always, I've been your host, Trevor Starkey from TrevorTrove.com. You can follow me at SnarkyStarkey on Twitter. And until next time, from here at the Trove, treasure your friends.